We're going to discuss two concepts today. Present value, and we often use the term PV to escape present value. And we're also going to talk about future value, okay? And this is the very basic time value of money. We often call future value FV. And if we consider this on a timeline, future value and present value reflect the idea that money has value. So if I were to have $100 today, there is some choice of investment. And over time, 1 year, 10 years, 10 years, this should grow into some amount, okay? $120 or $1,200, something. It should be something bigger than what it is today. This idea of present value is basically what the amount is worth today, and future value is how much the amount is worth in the future. It's very simple, but if we were to take an example, uh, if we take an example of the $100 today, you would ask yourself a question. Would you prefer to have $100 today, or would you prefer to have $100 a year from now? If this is my present value, actually, if this is my present value, would I rather have the $100 today if that $100 is still going to have a future value of $100 in the future? And the answer is, I'd rather have the $100 today, right? Because what I can do with that $100 is that I can make it bigger. I can take that $100 and I can invest it into a business, right? I can buy a, I can buy, here's a, I'm going to make this into a restaurant. So here's my restaurant with great big windows. Ta-da! And I'm going to invest it into a restaurant, and customers are going to come in, and customers are going to go out. And hopefully, at the end of my 1 year or at the end of my other time period, I won't have $100. I'll have a lot more than $100. I'll have $100 plus all of my gains from my business. Well, the same thing applies for investing, except that as an investor, we're not necessarily the ones who invest into the restaurant. We may just make an investment into time or into the bank. And that's the basic idea between present value and future value. When we move forward when we move forward in time, as we're calculating future value, we call that compounding. And I'll go over compounding in more detail in a second. Compounding. But when we go back in time, when we're calculating present value from future value, we call it discounting. And again, I'll go over this in greater detail in the future. For now, what I want you to do is think about the idea that $100 today in the present is going to be worth more to us than it will be worth if I were to receive $100 in the future. This is the value of money today. This is the value of money in the future.